And we are back for our best bets for UFC Paris. Imava versus Borjaio in the middleweight division. We've got 14 fights from the Accor Arena this Saturday. And again, I've picked out my favorite 5 bets for this card. And before we get into the video, folks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more MMA content here on Greedo Plays MMA. We're going to have our UFC Noche coverage starting on Sunday. We'll have Contender Series out the day after as well. So make sure to hit that subscribe button down below here on Greedo Plays MMA for more content on the main channel, Greedo Plays. Ooh, we got a lot of stuff cooking over there. We've got daily MLB best bets. We've got our college football predictions this week for week number 2, 3.5 hours, over 3.5 hours long of college football predictions. Make sure to join us over there, and also over 90 minutes of NFL predictions, all 16 games. We do it all with Greedo Plays and Greedo Plays MMA, so go subscribe to Greedo Plays, go subscribe to this channel as well. We got content all around every single sport for you. Okay, on to the first for our 5 best bets this week from Paris, France. Our first will be a 2-leg parlay. If you can't tell that, that's Brad Tavares. The 2-leg parlay is Brad Tavares and William Gomez. This is going to get you to minus 105. I think this is pretty safe. Now, by far, the tougher part of the parlay is Gomez. I'm going to explain in a second why I think Gomez is a pretty surefire thing to win. Now, don't get me wrong. The easier part of this is 100% Brad Tavares. I have no doubt in my mind Tavares will not beat Robert Bryczek. All right? Robert Bryczek was absolutely awful in his one UFC fight, and I'm expecting nothing but the same, okay? If you can't beat Ihor Potieria, how are you going to beat Brad Tavares? Not like Tavares is some killer. He's not. But, and Tavares, he definitely does not hit as hard as Ihor does, because that's really Ihor's entire thing. It's just, I'm going to swing hard and hope I hit you, and I hope I land and put you down. Tavares will be there for all 15 minutes, and Tavares, here's the thing, Brad will probably just keep, he'll keep touching up Bryczek for 15 minutes. And I just don't know, guys. Rewatch Bryczek Ihor Potieria. It's one of the worst UFC debuts you're gonna ever see. Because Bryczek, he just swings at nothing the entire fight, and it's not like Ihor Potieria is so elusive. It's not like, he's bobbing and weaving. You can't touch this guy. No. Ihor Potieria won 2 fights in the UFC. One against the ghost of Mauricio Shogun Hooy, and then Robert Bryczek. And it's not like, also again, if Potieria knocked him down in the first round, not even like he got lucky. Like, say he just knocked him down, he catches him with a nice shot. Okay. And then Bryczek just goes on autopilot mode for the rest of the fight. Like, when you look at Korean Zombie fighting Brian Ortega, right? He gets knocked down, he goes on autopilot for the last 15 minutes of the fight because he doesn't really know where he's at. Okay. If that was the case, I could excuse it, right? If Bryczek got dropped in the first and he's badly wobbled, sure. No, the drop and knockdown happened in the 3rd round, when Potieria was already up 2-0. You can make the case maybe Bryczek wins the first. He didn't, okay? Like, when I originally watched this fight, I was watching it at a shitty Thai restaurant in Bloomington, Indiana, okay? But I've rewatched it since, and it was the exact same thing I was watching back then, okay? It was horrible for Robert Bryczek. Potieria wins the first round, okay? It's a horrible first round, but he wins it. Second round, Potieria definitely wins. 3rd round, he drops him, okay? I have no doubt in my mind Tavares will not beat Bryczek. I get it, Bryczek in the regional scene. He was pretty solid, right? Decent in Octagon, won some fights over there. I'm sorry, he's a fraud and he's 35. You're a 35-year-old about to fight your second fight in the UFC against Tavares, who is 37 and who's had 26 fights in the UFC. I'm not going to try to sell you on the fact that, Brad Tavares is some killer. He is not, okay? But Tavares knows one thing, and he knows how to win, okay? Because he's won 16 times already in the UFC. He's coming off fights against Gerald Mearshart, who's been a veteran, right? Who is a veteran. Jun Young Park, the Iron Turtle, Gregory Rodriguez, and Chris Weidman. Again, those are vets and guys who are all better than Bryczek. Yes, Gerald Mearshart probably beat Robert Bryczek if they fought, okay? The second leg of the parlay, I get it. It's more difficult. It is William Gomez beat Robert Hachula. I get it. Hachula is a KSW champion going into this fight. I think William Gomez does not get the credit he deserves in terms of what he does in the octagon. He is 4-1 and sure. A lot of that run felt a little Mickey Mouse, and the only finish win he has is against PFL Mena's own in Yanis Gamori. The other 3 victories are Jarno Aarons, Francis Marshall, and Joe Anderson Brethu. You can definitely make the case William Gomez won his last fight. It's in the Apex. Alcio Mabaya versus Manel Kopp was the main event, and Gomez goes out there and fights Hyder Emil. You can easily make the case Gomez should have got the nod there. He doesn't. It's a close fight, and we have to see in that one Gomez actually bite down the mouthpiece and throw back, okay? Yes, he loses the 3rd round. I personally, if you go back and rewatch that fight, I think Gomez wins the first 2. I think he does. I get it. Emil's thrown really hard, but I think to me that's a Gomez 2-1, him winning the first and second rounds, right? One judge had it for Gomez, who was Anthony Manis, but Mike Bell and Ron McCarthy both scored it for the American in Hyder Emil. On top of that, guys, if we get a close fight here, Gomez is going to win. It's in Paris, okay? I know. I don't, the Jonathan Britu fight, I didn't think Gomez won. A lot of people didn't think Gomez won. It was in France. France is still a country where they have had mixed martial arts here for 3 years, right? It's been legalized for 3 years. It's still a fairly young sport in this country. Just as a whole, like MMA, like generally, it is a young sport. It hasn't been going on for more than 30 years, or more than 35 years. Let me correct myself there. It's been going on for 3 years in France. There are still new judges. There are still new people learning mixed martial arts. And, close fight. I don't really know. I'll give it to the French guy, right? Gomez is going to win the bout. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves on the feet. He does weather the storm against really good strikers. And that's what Hachula can be. Hachula has a grappling game too. Gomez should be fine there. He's a good defensive wrestler. Good enough defensive wrestler. I think William Gomez gets this. I know it's the harder part of the 2-leg parlay, but he's at home. I don't expect William Gomez to lose at home. His only loss is a split decision fight where he probably should have won against Hyder Emil. Give me Gomez beating Robert Hachula, who, by the way, is making his UFC debut. Don't like that. Give me Gomez. -105, by the way, on the 2-leg parlay. On out to our second bet of the video, best bet of the video. Going Marcin Tybura. Marcin Tybura money line's all I want here, -110. I said this when we made the full card predictions. Again, that is linked in the description down below as well. If you want an in-depth breakdown in every single one of these fights, that video is like an hour and 20 minutes long. I'm going to be fading the UFC debut of Ante Dillia. I don't see it, okay? I think a lot of people are blindly picking Dillia, if you are picking Dillia, because, he's got a bunch of knockouts, he's really tall, and, he's from PFL. I don't think a lot of people, and he's a PFL champion, which that's fine. As someone who watches the PFL every week, for better or for worse, I'm telling you, Dillia is not ready for this. The UFC gave him this big opportunity in terms of a top 10 opponent because he is a former champ. He's 35. Guys, I'm telling you, he's going to look more like Felipe Lins than he will. That's like the only PFL to ever come over to the UFC after winning a championship. But he's going to look more like Felipe Lins than, I don't know, Ngannou if he came back. That's a horrible comp. And I guess Sergey Bilostiny. I don't think Bilostiny would do very well if he came to the UFC. Regardless, though, Dillia, the nickname's the Walking Trouble. It's really, I'm not moved, man. I've watched Dillia fight quite a bit. 2 fights ago, he got knocked down in the first round against Valentin Moldavsky. Moldavsky looks like he's kind of, I don't know. I'm not moved on Moldavsky right now. Did I say Bolestini won the championship in PFL? Oleg Popov, my goodness. They're both Russian. Okay, no, they're both Bolestini throws more kicks. Anyway, that's what I meant. If Oleg Popov came to the UFC, I don't think he would do very well. Okay, Bolestini lost in the first round. My apologies to Moldavsky. Got the Russians mixed up there, but Valentin Moldavsky lost to Linton Vassell in 2024. And in 2023, a 40-something-year-old Linton Vassell, and that guy, same guy, Moldavsky, knocked down Ante Dillia. I get it. Tybura's probably not going to knock him out. I actually think Marcin Tybura, guys, is going to shock a lot of people with the striking here. I think he's going to. Guys, don't forget Marcin Tybura. People forget, man. Rocked and put down Ben Rothwell back in 2020. Didn't finish him, but he can hit you. He can. And I think Tybura is going to make this fight a lot closer than people expect on the feet, to the point where he's going to be trading with Dillia. Dillia doesn't hit that hard, guys. Dillia's knockouts are Mateusz Scheffel twice, and that's it in the PFL. And that's what I think people don't understand. If you didn't watch the PFL in 2022, it was the biggest joke of a heavyweight season they ever had because they had so many pullouts in 2022, right? By the way, Dillia fought in 2021 in the PFL, lost the championship fight to Bruno Capoloza by decision. But I think people don't realize what happened in 2022 when Dillia was the champion, right? Or won the championship. He fought in the most Mickey Mouse bracket I've ever seen. Denis Goltsov doesn't get to go to the playoffs, get to go to the playoffs because he doesn't have a visa or whatnot, so he can't fight. Oh goodness, someone else got hurt as well. Bruno Capoloza doesn't make the playoffs either. He loses to Mateusz Sheffield. No, Bruno Cappelozza was supposed to be in the playoffs, but he couldn't get his visa issue settled either. So the two best heavyweights going into that tournament, going into the Final Four, were pretty clearly, in my opinion, Bruno Cappelozza and Denis Goltsov. Cappelozza was the champion the year before. He had beaten Delia twice. He had won the championship. And Denis Goltsov is, I guess, like the PFL GOAT, kind of. A little bit, but then he just lost to Corey Anderson. I don't know. Goltsov has won a lot in the PFL. Him and like Magomed Karamov had a million fights over there. Regardless, though, right? Those are the two top guys going into the PFL playoffs in 2022 at heavyweight. Both of them didn't end up making it to the playoffs because of either injury or visa issues, because they fought overseas that year. They fought in England, oddly enough, for the playoffs. So who did Ante Dilly have to fight to get his championship bouts? Hernan Ferreira, sure. Guys, Hernan Ferreira is not as good as you think he is, okay? He's just not, all right? He got Ngannou beat him, but never been sold on him. Mateusz Sheffield he beat for the championship. The same Mateusz Sheffield who fought in the Contender Series and lost to, who did he lose in the Contender Series? Murzakanov, but like still, Mateusz Sheffield's not good at fighting, okay? Like, I think if you got me, seriously, he's 6'3". If I got like a 6-month camp, I think I might be able to beat Mateusz Sheffield. I don't know. I'd have to really, he'd outweigh me. How much does this dude weigh? I'm getting off track here. Ooh, he's a 260. Ooh, he outweighs me by about 75 pounds. Ooh, no, like 70 pounds. Ooh, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know. No, about 80 pounds actually. Oh, he's like actually 265. No, yeah, if he could cut down to like middleweight, I think I'd beat him. Or welterweight, I'd beat him, but anyways, I'm getting off track here. Guys, Dilly is not as good as you think he is, all right? Marcin Tybura has been there, done that in the UFC. He's had a million fights. He's fought 22 of them in the UFC. This guy beat Tai Tuivasa and choked him out. What I expect this fight to be is Marcin Tybura is going to be a lot closer on the feet than you think he's going to be against Dilly. Dilly is not this one-shot knockout guy. Tybura then's going to eventually pour it on him. I don't think Dilly is really equipped to fight a Marcin Tybura type of fight, because Tybura, what he's going to do in this fight, he's going to clinch him, he's going to push him back up against the fence, and he's going to eventually take him down, all right? Tybura is going to wear out Dilly in this bout, and Marcin Tybura is going to win, and he's going to get it by decision, okay? There's a reason he's ranked in the top 10. Dilly is not ready for prime time, okay? I've seen this before. Let's move on now to our third best bet of the video. Let's go to an under 1.5 total rounds with Modestas Bukauskas and Paul Craig. So, two ways this can go. This reminds me of a play that we had for the Chicago pay-per-view with Kaya Sakura versus Tim Elliott. Same type of deal here, okay? Now, we expected Kaya Sakura to knock out Tim Elliott really early in that fight. And that's what we were banking on. It didn't happen because Tim Elliott subbed Kaya Sakura. So we were okay with it, right? I said it at the time. I was like, we're playing this for Kaya Sakura. But by the off chance Elliott wins, he's probably going to sub him. Same exact thing here. It's legitimately the same exact scenario. So we get Modestas Bukauskas versus Paul Craig. It's the feature bout of the night, okay? Paul Craig's coming off that weird fight against Adolfo Bellato. Don't get me started on that. Bellato faking that he's knocked out and trying to fight the ref because he was faking that he was knocked out. It was crazy. Paul Craig hasn't won a fight since July of 2023, okay, where he beat Andrea Muniz. But 3 straight losses ensure it's Brendan Allen, Kyle Borjayo, and Bo Nickel, who's going to fight Rodolfo Vieira coming up. But Craig has the no contest against Bellato, where I guess he was kind of winning. Here's the thing. He's either going to get knocked out in the first round, because this is what happens with Paul Craig, first or early second round. He's going to get knocked out, or he's going to choke out Modestas Bukauskas. No other way about this. Bukauskas has been subbed before. That was all the way back in UC MMA back in 2016 via the heel hook. But either this fight, again, is going to be a quick knockout for Bukauskas, or Craig's going to fight in the submission. Paul Craig, again, you know what he is. Bear Jew, right? All grappling. He is one of the few guys in mixed martial arts that legitimately will pull guard. Here's the thing, though, guys. I'm fully expecting Paul Craig to get knocked out in the first round. Again, by the off chance that he actually does get the win, it's going to be by sub because Bukauskas is going to do something stupid, I believe. But I fully expect Bukauskas to knock this guy out. Bukauskas 31, still in the prime of his career. Paul Craig, guys, is 37. And he hasn't won a fight in 2 years. 2.5 years. I mean, eventually that age catches up to you, right? You don't take punches like you used to. Kyle Borjayo put this guy out and put him out cold. And yes, Borjayo's fighting in the main event. And Bo Nickel couldn't put away Paul Craig because Bo Nickel is not a very advanced mixed martial arts fighter just yet. I'm kind of interested to see how the Rodolfo Vieira fight goes, but actually I think I know how that's going to go. Bo Nickel's just going to kickbox him for 15 minutes. No, he might wrestle. That's actually interesting because Adolfo did look good in his last fight. Regardless, though, Bukauskas should knock Craig's head off. Bukauskas has power. You know, you saw him knock out Rafael Corquera. And I think that's how, honestly, Bukauskas should take this fight, okay? Paul Craig's wrestling does not scare me. His grappling obviously should, and it does. Paul Craig, I don't think he can take down Bukauskas. I really don't think so. The only way he's going to get Bukauskas down, because Bukauskas is a strong dude. Craig is too, they're both 6'3", but Bukauskas is kind of a tough guy to take down. The only way Paul Craig gets this fight down is if he gets knocked down or he pulls guard. Paul Craig has never been a good takedown artist. He's a 19% takedown accuracy fighter. Bukauskas has defended takedowns at an 80% rate so far in the UFC. He has not been taken down since the Vitor Petrino loss that he had a couple years ago. He just doesn't get taken down. So if you are Bukauskas, you're approaching this fight, in my opinion, like you did in the Rafael Corquera fight back in Seattle earlier this year. If you don't know who Corquera is, legitimately the worst UFC fighter of all time. And they gave him another fight? He's fighting Abdurrahman Yakev later in the year? No way. I mean, I guess they want Yakev to win. That's insane. They gave Corquera a fourth fight? But if you don't know who Rafael Corquera is, he's the guy who stands there with the high guard and just, I'm going to eat punches, and then, I'm going to get knocked out. Julius Walker couldn't knock him out, disappointing. But that's all Corquera does. Now, if you're Bukauskas, you're approaching the Paul Craig fight like you are the Corquera fight. Craig can't hurt you on the feet. Not at all. What, he's going to pull guard while you're throwing big shots at him? If he does, okay, we'll be fine. Ground and pound there. And in our case, all right, throw some ground and pound. If you get stuck in a triangle choke, we really don't care, okay? I think there's too many, and I think this is going to be a fast start type fight. There's too many positives for me in this to not go with the under, okay? And at plus money too. It's too good to pass up on personally. So let's go plus 110 on Saturday for the under 1.5 total rounds in the the Modestas Bukauskas Paul Craig fight here on the feature bout of UFC Paris. On now to our co-main event. I'm going Mauricio Hooy to knock out Benoit Saint-Denis. I don't care. Yeah, I'm going with the knockout here. I get it. Hooy is the very public play in terms of everyone's high on Mauricio Hooy. For good reason. I think he's going to knock out Benoit. Benoit in his last two losses got finished. Now, the Renato Moicano fight was a doctor stoppage. It was the eye shuttage. Is that a word? I don't know. His eye got shut, basically, because of all the damage Money Moicano was doing to Benoit. That was in France, and that was a main event. Benoit Saint-Denis before that got knocked out by Dustin the Diamond Poirier. My point with all this is Benoit coming up in the UFC, right? His first fight was the fight against Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos. And why Benoit was so hyped was because he ate as much damage as one can physically take in a fight, fought okay in the third round. And again, former, military guy in France. I mean, he's a Marine. I think he's a French Marine. I think that's what he is. Anyways, he's a marauder. He's going to come out there. He's great, right? He's going to take all this damage. And sure, he gets past the Zaleski fight. He loses. He wins 5 fights in a row. And they give him Dustin Poirier in a co-main event where he's a huge favorite to beat Dustin Poirier. What happens? Yeah, Poirier cracks him and knocks him out. Okay? And then Benoit comes back and loses to Renato Moicano. He beats Kyle Propolek in his last fight, originally supposed to be scheduled to fight Joel Alvarez. He would have lost Joel Alvarez. I think he would have. Benoit did not look that good in the Propolek fight. Yeah, he subs him, but dude, you're supposed to beat Propolek. Propolek hadn't fought in the UFC in like 5 years. They brought him back for that. And Benoit was like a minus 600 favorite. No, he's a minus 1600 favorite in that fight. Exactly. He didn't look too good in the Propolek fight. He won, but you didn't need the best version of Benoit Saint-Denis to beat Kyle Propolek on that night. Benoit Saint-Denis needs to be the best version of Benoit Saint-Denis tonight to beat Mauricio Hooy. Mauricio Hooy knocks out everybody he fights, with the exception of one guy. That one guy is James Lontop. I don't know. This is just the truth, guys. Fighters from Mexico / Southern America, Latin America, they have the best chins of all time. They just do. Right? Guys like James Lontop, they can get knocked down like he did against Mauricio Hooy, and he'll keep fighting. Credit to them, man. I mean, credit to, Lontop. He's from Peru, I think, right? Shout out to the Peruvians. Shout out to the Mexicans, right? Like, that's just how it is. They have great chins. They're hard to knock out. Like, look at Kelvin Gastelum. How much damage that guy's taken. By the way, he's fighting Dustin Stoltzfus next week. What? Like, these guys just can eat all the damage in the world. My point, all that being, Hoofy's knocked everybody out he's ever fought except for Lontop, who, by the way, he almost finished, okay? Mauricio Hooy so far in the UFC, including the Contender Series, a victory over Raymond Magomedov by third round TKO, very late, but he finished him. Jamie Mullarkey knocked him out in the first round with a flying knee, and then the Bobby Green, or the King Green, spinning heel kick. My goodness, clips the top of his head, boom, knocks him out. Yeah, dude's scary, okay? You're not telling me Benoit is surviving 15 minutes with this guy. He's just not. Guys, are we forgetting, by the way, Benoit was billed into the UFC as a very good grappler. And yeah, he subs Kyle Propolek. He was forced to shoot on Dustin Poirier. I don't think he's going to be able to take Hooy down. I don't think so. I think Hoofy's good enough defensively wrestling-wise. And if he gets stuck on the feet, yeah, his chin's pretty good, but how many more shots can you take? Took all that damage in the Zaleski fight. Dustin Poirier knocks him down twice and knocks him out. He doesn't get knocked down by Money Moicano. I'm not mistaken. Money Moicano, though, put it on him. Yeah, he didn't get knocked down by Money Moicano. Money Moicano used that jab, threw everything out there, and bloodied up Benoit. And Benoit almost won the second round. I don't care. Look at all the damage Money Moicano put on Saint-Denis' face. Exactly. So, I think Benoit's overhyped. Guys, his best win's still Matt Frevola. What has Matt Frevola done since the Benoit Saint-Denis fight at UFC 295? Exactly. He has fallen back down the cliff. Benoit is best known for just being a tough guy who can take damage and lose. Well, in 2 of the 3 fights where he's just been a tough guy, he's lost them and been TKO'd in them. Poirier, Moicano. Hoofy's going to be the third. This time around, he's getting knocked out. Like Poirier did, Hoofy's going to land something cool, and he's going to knock him out. And then here we go. We're building up all this momentum for the main event. For the fighting nerds, let's go. Brasilia, Hooy wins, and that means main event that we're going with Caio Borralho to lose to Nasruddin Imavov. It's my favorite bet of the week. Undoubtedly, it's my favorite bet of the week. I don't understand the Caio Borralho pick here. I don't get it. I don't know why people are going with Borralho. Imavov is a better mixed martial arts fighter than Caio Borralho. I firmly believe that. And I know a lot of discourse has been made, at least on Twitter this week, that I've seen about this fight, to the point where, okay, look, compare the two guys' Cannonier fights, right? And look how much Caio dominates and how Imavov is kind of sitting back, needs a bad stoppage to beat Cannonier. While that is true, and I get that, and Caio really had, Cannonier dead to rights at the end of that fight, that's Caio's last fight, was Cannonier. Over a year ago. The guy hasn't fought since. It was August of 2024 when he beat Cannonier in the Apex. Okay, since Imavov beat Cannonier in Kentucky, in Louisville, he went on to beat Brendan Allen and then knock out Israel Adesanya. Here's my thing with this fight. Nasruddin Imavov is from Dagestan. He moved to France at a fairly early age, if I'm not mistaken. I made the comp earlier in the week. It's like when Abus Magomedov, he was born, who actually Borralho beat, but that's neither here or there. There's no association to Imavov and Abus other than the fact that they're both just born in Dagestan. But Abus Magomedov, born in Dagestan, parents moved him to Dusseldorf, Germany as a toddler, as like an 8-year-old, right? Or like 10-year-old, I think, right? But he grew up wrestling. Same thing with Imavov, right? Grows up wrestling, moves to France. Now he's a French kickboxer who, has a great wrestling background too. Now, does he beat Khamzat Chimaev? Probably not. No, not at all. But he will definitely beat Caio Borralho, because here's the thing. Borralho's not going to be able to take him down. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be able to consistently take Imavov down. He might get him down once, guys. Brendan Allen's a good wrestler. I don't know if he's as good as Borralho is, because that's what does make Borralho really good. I'll give him credit. Like Borralho, I always say this all the time about really good BJJ guys, like Brian Ortega, like Mackenzie Dern, right? Like Rodolfo Vieira. They're great on the ground. They just can't get takedowns, and that's what stops them from being elite. Right, and that's why I always make the comp. That's why Aljamain Sterling's so elite, because he's a really good jiu-jitsu guy who's got great wrestling. And that's what makes Borralho good. Sure, he's got good wrestling, and he's obviously got really good grappling too. It's just, I think Imavov's wrestling is better. And then, okay, if we get stuck in a striking fight between Imavov and Borralho, I'm taking Imavov. I get it. Borralho, he went out there, he outstruck Cannonier. He knocked down Cannonier. He knocked out Paul Craig. He knocked down Abus Magomedov and beat him by decision. Yeah. And Imavov's just on a higher level than those guys. And we've seen it in the Cannonier fight, obviously. Imavov beats Cannonier and does TKO Cannonier in the 4th. I get it. Jared was really in that fight, and 100% Herzog with a horrible stoppage at the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, Kentucky. I get that. But I think Imavov has made improvements since. Look at the Allen fight, not the best fight, but the fight that is so telling is the Adesanya fight. Guys, nobody knocks out Israel Adesanya. Nobody. Guys, name the 2 fighters who have ever knocked out Israel Adesanya. Okay, it's Alex Pereira. Is it Sean Strickland? No. Is it Dricus Du Plessis? No, he choked him out, but it's fine. It's not Du Plessis. Jan Blachowicz? No. Robert Whittaker? No. Jerry Cannonier? No. Whittaker? No. Yoel Romero? No. Gaslam? No. Anderson Silva? No. Oh, it's Nasruddin Imavov. You know, like, nobody knocks out Izzy. I don't care. Izzy's 35 now. Was 35 at that fight. Now 36. So who is he fighting? I don't know. But maybe Dricus rematch. That'd be fun. Dricus would kick his ass. But nobody knocks out Israel Adesanya. And Nasruddin Imavov did that. Puts him down with the right and puts him out. Doesn't knock him out cold, but TKOs him, right? I don't think Kyle is going to be able to compete on the feet. I don't think so. I'm not going to call a mismatch striking-wise. I just believe Imavov is better. And I don't think Kyle can get this fight to how he wants it, which is wrestle heavy, grapple heavy. I don't think he's going to be able to get that because of the wrestling background of Nasruddin Imavov, right? At some point in time, the Fighting Nerds hype will eventually end. Now, it can very much end if Imavov wins this week and Lopez wins next week. I'm not going to give you my Lopez versus John Silva pick just yet because watch my video on Sunday at noon Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern time, and I will give you that pick. But this next 2 weeks can either go really well for Fighting Nerds or really horribly. Now, Carlos Prates somehow got the Leon Edwards fight, and he's probably going to knock Leon Edwards out, I would think. He'll probably just decision him. But, you know, Fighting Nerds, eventually this thing kind of has to go away, I think. And I don't hate the Fighting Nerds. I'm just saying, like, they're good. Eventually you run into tough matchups. And, right, Prates did that earlier with... He's already done that, obviously, with Ian Gary, came back, won a big fight, beat Jeff Neal, knocked out Jeff Neal. Eventually, though, right, you run into you run into a guy that you can't beat anymore. And I don't think Hoofy's ran into that just yet. I think he's coming up on that soon. And I think John Silva, again, we'll get to John Silva. I don't know. But I think Borjaio has found his match so far at middleweight. And I do believe it is the sniper, Nasruddin Imavov. So I'm going to go with Imavov, too. He's at home as well. He's in France. I think he's going to win this fight. I think the Fighting Nerds go 1-1 tonight. As I believe, right, Hoofy wins, but Borjaio is going to take the L. So, I mean, Nasruddin Imavov, at the beginning of the week, I did say Imavov by decision. I still believe that's going to be the case. I don't think Imavov is going to get Borjaio out of there because I think there is always going to be a threat of the takedown in there. I believe Imavov's got a better gas tank, too. So I think Imavov's going to improve as the fight goes on. Don't know if I can say the same about Borjaio. Also, Imavov is a huge dude. Borjaio's big for middleweight. Imavov is actually way bigger. Imavov's got 3 inches of height on him. So take that as you will. Give me Nasruddin Imavov to win the main event against Kyle Borjaio. And oh, by the way, he's an underdog. Sign me up for plus money. Folks, thank y'all for watching our UFC Paris Best Bets here on the channel. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you did disagree with anything. The picks will be back again on Sunday for the start of our UFC Noche week here on the channel. It's just like every other week, but just going to be talking about UFC Noche. So make sure to join us for that, folks. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Check out Greedo Plays the main channel as well. Folks, thank y'all for watching. And Mamba forever.